Most of you are already familiar with the behavior of Nelson chessboard. It loves bringing queen as soon as possible on the board. So in this video I am going to show a match played between two Nelson boards against each other. Let's get started. Both players started the game with king's pawn opening, and then white plays queen to h5. If you have ever played with Nelson chessboard, you know that this move is very common. But this move is not limited to Nelson chessboard. If you see games of 1000 rated players and below of that, then you can see this move. So let me explain you what the point of this move. There are mainly three regions of playing. Let me switch to black side so that I can explain you better. Yes. Let's say you are from black side and your opponent is white, and this is the position. So three reasons why opponent play this move. Our first reason is this will develop your most powerful piece as soon as possible on the board. Second reason is this is targeting this pawn, which is not protected by any piece. Let's assume you played pawn to b6, black capture, then give check. You played pawn bishop to f6 and check, and this can take your rook. And the third reason, and which is the main reason, your opponent will play this move so they can go for fast checkmate. Let me show you how. Let's say you played knight to c6 in this position so that you can protect this pawn. Then white will go for bishop to c4, and let's say you also develop your bishop giving double protection, and boom, checkmate. Your king cannot move anywhere and also can't capture this queen because it is protected by bishop. Let's back to the position. Okay, let me explain what is the best move here so you don't fall for the trap. You will go for knight to c6, protecting this pawn. This is 99% chance your opponent will go for bishop to c4, targeting this piece. Now you will play pawn to g6, blocking the checkmate threat. There is 99% chance your opponent will go here, again targeting this pawn. So develop your knight. Now let's say they develop their pawn so that they can develop their bishop and attack on this knight. And you have to play pawn to d4. Most of the time player will fall for this trap and play queen to e3. You will go for knight to c2 check, and their queen is gone. Back to the position. Now here if you will see, black Nelson is not developed his queen. He had 4 squares to put his queen. It cannot put on these square, otherwise queen will take, so ignore these. There are two moves in which black have to think. Black goes for queen to f6, protecting this pawn and this pawn. Black takes, and then white plays bishop to g5, queen to e6. White brings his bishop back. Black plays pawn to c5 so that it can protect his pawn. White plays queen to h3. Nelson says that, hey Nelson, let's trade our queens. But black Nelson is not in the mood, so he plays queen to e4, bishop to g2, pawn to g6. And then white again says, hey Nelson, let's trade our queens. But this time black Nelson plays pawn to f5. Queen takes, pawn takes. Then pawn to a3, pawn to d3. Here pawn to d3 is a blunder. Can you find the best move here? That move is pawn to c3, because here bishop is directly attacking the rook and there is no way to save him. If you play knight to f6, bishop takes. If you play bishop to g7, bishop takes. So there is no way. But in this position, white plays knight to c3, leaving his bishop unprotected. Black plays pawn to c4 instead of capturing the bishop. Suddenly white realized how big mistake he made and played bishop to f3. Then we have pawn to d5. See, this pawn is protected by this pawn, protected by this pawn. White plays bishop to e3. Black doubles, bishop takes, knight to g6. Bishop takes again, pawn takes. And then black plays knight to e5, attacking this bishop and at the same time protecting this pawn. Black moves his king instead of putting his bishop here. Bishop to d4. And this is the best move because this bishop is pinning the knight and at the same time protected by this pawn. Black doubles knight, rook to d1, double attacking this pawn. And black plays bishop to d7. You can go for trade. Bishop takes, queen d2 check, rook takes, bishop takes, rook b2, double attacking these two pieces. Bishop retreats, bishop takes knight, rook to e8 check, king to d2, and king takes. And after some move later, white plays bishop to g2. This rook is 100% gone. None of these pieces can save it. Bishop takes, knight developed. Took to d5, and again after some move later, white left his knight unprotected. Black noticed it and takes, and then few moves later black won this game very easily. Checkmate.